What is up, Gundam Meisters and Innovators? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to Mobile Suit Gundam 00. Last time, Marina and Setsuna met with Catherine to find out that Shiden is amongst the anti-UN group. Sumeragi finally embraced being back with Celestial Being, and dons her uniform, albeit a size too small. Gotta show off Sumi's boobies. This episode, Celestial Being will help Catherine as their base is heavily destroyed. Also, Alelujah and Soma go down and they have their Atherin and Kagali moment. So let's get into this. At a press conference, some press secretary for the Earth Sphere Federation fields questions to reporters concerned about the return of Celestial Being. They will strengthen their A-laws as a solution. Regine wonders if causing the A-laws to grow is a part of Veda's plan. Revived Revival approaches the two. Revived Revival? I can't take these names. He wants to roll out a new mobile suit, but Ribbons hired Ali to help instead. In the desert, Setsuna, Tieria, Sumeragi, Saji, and Marina are heading to a Catherine base on a shuttle. Since Season 1, not only has the UN abandoned them, but they shoved a giant middle finger up their buttholes by installing these GN particle disruptors throughout the Middle East. Remember, GN particles, like Minovsky particles, disrupt modern communication signals. One side effect of this disruption is that it gives Catherine a nice cover to hide behind as the Federation can't lock onto their communications. Celestial Being wants Catherine to look after Saji, as he is just a civilian that got caught up in all of this. He doesn't want to leave Celestial Being, but they think this is for the best. Children walk in, and this gives Setsuna PTSD. He asks if these children are being raised as Catherine soldiers, but they are merely fostered children. Sumeragi tells them that they don't make ideological decisions, and up until recently, their attacks were all dictated by an algorithm, but their fight is with the A-laws, and not the Federation. He says, well, since their causes line up so well, can we just assist you with your missions? Goodman chastises Lint for his failure on the last mission. This time he will place both Katie and Lint in charge. This is getting comical. Katie wants Tom Cruise to help on the next mission, but he says that he is a one-man army. Meanwhile, Sergei tells Soma that he wasn't there for his son, Andre, when he was younger, and he hates him. Soma takes Sergei up on his offer to let him adopt her. Setsuna watches as Marina plays with the kids. Saji says that those kids are products of Celestial Being's destruction and wonders if he feels something. Robot Setsuna says, yes, I feel something. I am Gundam. Nailed it. Not robotic at all, Setsuna. Marina wants to ask Setsuna a question. She needs to return to Azadistan. As she is already in a lot of heat, Setsuna can't just use his Gundam and take her home. That would stir up trouble for Marina, so they take a shuttle while Sumeragi handles transportation of 00. Saji doesn't trust Celestial Being or Catherine. He sees both parties as those who cause pain. He decides to take off on his own, but is shortly captured by a Federation airship. They interrogate him. This happens to be Sergei's ship. Sergei can tell that he isn't a fighter and isn't with Catherine. He also knows that he was on the Colony Proud up until a few weeks ago when the Celestial Beings attacked. Sergei wants to hear the truth. He spills the beans. Meanwhile, Homer and the A-laws have found Catherine's base. Kitty has been ordered to use automatons in kill mode. She is horrified by this, but Lint is like, oh well, orders are orders. Soma is starting to realize why Sergei didn't want to join the A-laws. Andre admits to her that his anger towards his father is because he let his mother die. One of Sergei's men informs A-laws of Saji. He punches his underling and tells Saji to get out of here fast. He has no authority over the A-laws and can't protect him. As he takes off, he sees GN particles falling from the sky. Wang sends a coded message to the Ptolemaeus informing them that the A-laws are heading to Catherine's base for an attack. Sumeragi decides to help them out. Heads and Jinx 3s approach as Catherine goes to Red Alert. Klaus realizes that they are greatly outmatched and will hold them off, but he hopes that Celestial Being will come to help. The Ahead drops automatons onto the base. That is when Celestial Being comes in to help. Tom Cruise decides to join for funsies. Alelujah in the Arios Camille's right through some Jinxes, while Tieria uses his double bazooka. Lock-On takes out the automatons. Oh yeah, Luis is here and she is just watching the battle, not doing anything again. That is until Lock-On attacks her and she runs away. They are able to hold off the A-laws, but it was a massacre. Much of Catherine has been killed in action. Saji returns to find death and destruction. He blames himself for running away and opening his mouth. Meanwhile, Setsuna and Marina return to Azadistan to find the city on fire. It was caused by Ali in the Arch Gundam. Archie? I'm gonna go with Arch. Someone will correct me. The G&W 20,000 Arch Gundam is built off of the Gundam Throne Y and developed by the Innovates. It has many features of the Throne Gundam, but also has an overall performance increase. This has 3 G and Tau drives and increased armor. It also has a core fighter used mainly for escape. There are enhanced sensors on its 5-head. Weapons include the G and Buster sword, which is both a beam and physical sword. The sword has a rifle mode that can be used when firing. It is strong enough to deflect 00's beam attacks. Other weapons are 10 G and Fangs, a G and Beam Saber, and a G and Shield. Klaus and his men spent 3 years building this base, only for it to go down in minutes. As Saji returns to the base, Tiedia says, "Hey buddy, I wonder where you went off to." He wants to know if he is an Alaw's spy. Sumeragi watches the squad mourn for a comrade. This triggers a flashback to when she was an AUG officer and accidentally friendly fired on someone she loved. The blood rushes to her tits and she passes out. Tiedia gives Saji a bright slap and says, "Congratulations, you are responsible for a massacre. This blood is on your hands and you are no different than us. So get off your high horse and try to exist in the real world instead of the ideological version you have in your head." Setsuna and Marina, hey, can you stop crying? Setsuna and Marina return from Azadistan as there was nothing they could do without a Gundam. Marina informs Shiden of the destruction of Azadistan. She is actually mad that Setsuna brought her back here as she would have died trying to fight. Celestial Being will help with supplies for Catherine for the time being. At EFS, Katie Mannequin is conflicted and wonders if she is no different than Lint. Soma is not feeling good about the last operation either. Sergei sends him a coded message informing her that he was the reason that Alaz found the base. Lint slaps and chastises Sergei for letting Saji go. Just like the Titans in UC, even though Sergei is a higher rank than Lint, the Alaz are above rank. Catherine begins evacuating the people, while Celestial Being tries to head off Alaz, knowing that they will come back for a second attack. While Soma talks to Louise, Andre approaches and instantly falls in love with her. "Don't be weird, dude."
乙女だ。
Aw, you're being weird. As Katie is giving her briefing, Tom Cruise walks in and says, "00 is mine. You can't have it," and then just walks out. Everyone seems to expect this from him now. The Gundams launch and approach the Alos squadron. They engage in battle. Luis heads toward the ship, while Alelujah and Soma fight. Tom Cruise comes in and attacks 00. Lassie is taking tactical command since Sumeragi is still passed out. Ian goes to use Ptolemy's cannons. Saji wants to help him. Katie realizes that this isn't the command tactics of Sumeragi and switches things up. Luis approaches the ship and Saji shoots while Ian aims, but Saji hesitates for a good 10 seconds before not firing. He couldn't bring himself to do it. Andre comes in to protect Luis from countermeasures, and they get out of range of the Ptolemaeus. As Setsuna fights the ahead Sakigake, he activates the Trans-Am system. This is his first time activating it since sinking 00, and like Ian Vashti said, it overloads the GN drives. His suit is dead in the water. Tom Cruise notices this and doesn't kill him as he realizes this is an uneven match. Sumeragi wakes up and tells the Gundam Meisters to split up while the Ptolemy creates a smokescreen. Kitty realizes that the tactics have changed and Sumeragi is back in command. She tells the Alaz to fall back. They don't have signal with Arios Gundam. The Alaz also think that Soma went down in action as well. The two battled and crash-landed nearby. Alelujah gets out of his mobile suit and wakes up Soma. He calls her Mari, but she proceeds to fight him. He seems to unlock her memories and she passes out. But before she does, she remembered Alelujah. Sergei heads out to find Soma. Andre and Luis search as well, but the Alaz higher-ups call off the search. Soma wakes up in a camp set up by Alelujah. Their mobile suits don't work. He wonders how Mari became Soma. She mentions that they probably implanted a false personality in her. She seems to now have both Soma and Mari's memories. He tells her of how they escaped from the super soldier lab. He regretted not taking her with him, but there wasn't enough food for everyone. Eventually, Hallelujah came out and killed all the other children, allowing him to survive. Hallelujah is just another part of him, and he did all those bad things, and he accepts that. Sergei eventually finds Hallelujah's camp. Catherine meets up with another Catherine group. They are informed that the Federation is moving on the Middle East and establishing provisional governments. Effectively, Azadistan is no more. Marina is with them and is in shock. Sergei points a gun at Alelujah and tells him to get away from Soma. But she tells him, "Yo man, I'm not that person anymore. Also, I'm an adult. Adults don't need to be adopted." He shoots his gun in the air and says that he will tell his subordinates that Soma died in battle so she could live a life of peace. Mari tells Sergei that she still thinks of him as a father. That is good enough for him, and he takes his leave. Lock-On finds him and says, "What the hell, man? We've been stressed and trying to find you and you're just making out with a woman? Rude." The Ptolemaeus crew are informed that Alelujah has been found. Setsuna smiles, and Saji realizes that he isn't a complete Gundam, and there is some human in there. Tieria is still scouting when he gets news of Alelujah. That is when Regina Reject approaches him. They realize that they look the same. Regina says that is because they have the same DNA. And that will do it for this episode. Saji finally realizes that he can't live in an idealized world. Should have probably figured this out when he got dumped, but whatever. All he could do is try the best he can in the moment. At least the moment didn't tell him to kill Luis. Also, the shift from Soma to Mari was record-breaking. No resistance whatsoever, just instant change. At least Athrun and Kigali got a whole episode. Next time, Tieria wears a dress. Suits him. They will crash a party, and we will learn about the super weapon, Memento Mori. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember to be careful when adopting super soldiers. They might remember who they are. Peace.